Singakathandazi bazalwane. Nginaka nje bazalwane lokuthi for us kwekokuthi sito thandaza singene ngesibinzi is for us to know who God is. Moses uthi lapha, God, for generations and generations you have been our refuge. Now that speaks bazalwane to the sovereignty of God. Lokuthi uNkulunkulu longamele ungqongqoshe usetu kwako konke. Now lokusho ukuthi in whatever generation God remains relevant. In whatever challenge your generation uNkulunkulu has answers to those problems. Things may change bazalwane. Tinto tingashintsha, environments angachinja, but God remains constant. uNkulunkulu will remain relevant in any situation. Manje ngiyanaka ke bazalwane lokuthi God was and he is and he will be. Now bazalwane lento isho ukuthi sitawendlula thine bazalwane sihambe, but God will remain the same. He will never change bazalwane. He will be relevant even to he has been relevant to the generations before us, and God is still relevant even today. He will remain relevant to the next generation to come. Now kusho ukuthini lokhu bazalwane? Kusho ukuthi we can depend on this God. Kusho ukuthi bazalwane singasonzela uthi ke Moses, this man has been our refuge because they've seen God bazalwane in times of challenges. Mambonile uNkulunkulu I provide when they were starving, they had nothing, but they say this man is a man not dependable. This man is a man we can trust. When we begin to realize we can run to this man in whatever situation, then we begin to gain strength. God has been the same bazalwane kuma generations nathi bazalwane kungeneka sicabange ukuthi ema situations ethu seka exceptionally above in terms of complication, but this God has answers to our problems. Letinkinga lesinato, God has answers to the challenges of the time. Because God, une track record, yekuthi he has been God yesterday, today, and forever. He will remain God. So, bazalwane, as a church, I don't know what challenge lonayo this evening is satothandaza, but this God is relevant to your problem. Akandlulelela sikhathi bazalwane uNkulunkulu akaze uNkulunkulu afike lapho khona ukuthi this problem is above God. Uthi ke manje nakabonga ke Moses uthi uNkulunkulu you were before things ngaleso sizathu because God you have been the one lo before all things. Kusho ukuthi kuthi into lengakwehlula. There is no crisis, there is no situation bigger than this God. Onke ma situations God can understand. He understands your situation. You know what bazalwane uma sendlula through situation siyasicabanga ukuthi this one is too complicated for God. But bazalwane as a church as a satothandaza as we bring our challenges to God irregardless of the nature of the problem, but you can come and say God you are the God in every situation. uNkulunkulu etimeni tonke lesingathi cabanga letehlukahlukene, but God has remained an anchor of people's lives. uNkulunkulu uhlale njalo ethembekile to any situation. Bantu uthi ke Moses wena uNkulunkulu ube ngusiphephelo sethu kuko konke kuhlupheka lesendlule kuko. Lokusho ukuthini bazalwane nanamuhla bazalwane sisatothandaza ungasonzela uthi Nkosi you are relevant in my situation. Kule yami nje inkinga, kule yami problem, kule yami situation lengikuyo nami ngicabanga ukuthi maybe complicated, but God has always been relevant. Satothandaza bazalwane to the God who's dependable, to the God who's trustworthy, to the God who can transform our situations. Uthi ke manje wena uNkulunkulu you have always been there. And athi ke Jeremiah wena uNkulunkulu who is above everything. Is there anything too hard for you? And the answer is no, because God has been there before my challenges, my economies abe khona. God has been there before my chronic illnesses abe khona. God has been there bazalwane kuma challenges e society ma political upheavals la khona ekuhlupheka lokukhona lokukhona bazalwane in kuma families kuhlupheka lokukhona bazalwane kuma education systems kuhlupheka bazalwane lokukhona emisebentini. God is before everything. So we can come and say, because when uNkulunkulu sethu kwako konke, we are bringing everything unto you. Hallelujah. Siyakuletha konke kuwe Nkosi. We are bringing ourselves to you because when you understand us better, nema problems ethu understand ngcono. You understand even the future lesiya kuyo. So what athi ke manje Johane ngale ku Johane 6:66 athi, to whom shall we go? Because in you there are words of life. Kunemavi ekuphila. Singasuka kuwe siye kuphi? Because wena uNkulunkulu in all situations you are relevant. Sisatothandaza bazalwane kulo uNkulunkulu bazalwane losiphephelo sethu. Bazalwane kuko konke lokusichallenge akho, lo uNkulunkulu is our refuge. We can run to this tower bazalwane. Proverbs 18:10 usho njalo uthi uNkulunkulu ungumpheme wethu, ungumbhoshongo wethu lesingagijimela kuwo. So whatever problem bazalwane, whatever situation, come with the belief bazalwane nale faith lethi lo uNkulunkulu wethu is our refuge. Sitakuwe njengaNkulunkulu lo wethembekile, sitakuwe njengaNkulunkulu kuma situations ethu. Who can be a solution? Sisatothandaza bazalwane. I don't know ukuthi yini lonayo, kodwa nje kunalokuthi Nkosi you were there before. You have intervened kuma situations labukeke ngazuthi are complicated. But nala wethu bazalwane lengathi ayasehlula namuhla, nala wethu lengaze sasekugcineni, God is still our refuge bazalwane. Simakathe unemandla to intervene in our situations. Satothandaza bazalwane kunalokuthi nje Nkosi yebo simakathe usiphephelo sethu. In all the challenges and the miseries of the time, bazalwane, we can come to this God. Kuma personal challenges lakhona, to things that challenge us as a church, we can tell this God. Ngiyacela bazalwane sihlabeleni nomhlabeleli lothi Thixo wethu uthembekile, akanayo inkohliso, izwi lakhe liqinile, akasaphuli sethembiso. This God bazalwane is relevant. Bese siyasukuma bazalwane site uthandaza bazalwane. Ngiyafisa nje bazalwane ukuthi konke lokusethe inhlitweni tethu sitawuthandaza nje bazalwane sithi wena uNkulunkulu lo relevant. Sonke siphumisele bazalwane. Ngiloyo lokusenhlitweni yakhe lokungumthwalo akuphumisele bazalwane. Athi wena uNkulunkulu losiphephelo sethu. You can intervene even today. We are trusting you. Now bazalwane kuthi ngasibe nefaith bazalwane. Kufuna smart lo uNkulunkulu singathandaza ngathi sijika an arrow in the air sithemba nje ukuthi iyawuhita itarget. But we should know bazalwane ukuthi God is relevant in our situations. Lo uNkulunkulu lona bazalwane uNkulunkulu lo demonstrateile. Moses uyamathi uNkulunkulu avula lwandle lolubovu. Moses uyamathi uNkulunkulu ehlisa imana badla imana. Moses uyamathi uNkulunkulu akhiphe emanti edwaleni. Moses uyamathi uNkulunkulu abasikelele ngelifu ahamba nabo abambuzile. Uyamathi uNkulunkulu ayinsika yemlilo ahamba phambili. He knows God. That is why we have figured out how smakathi wena usiphephelo sethu. You are a God who holds our lives. uNkulunkulu lesingamethemba nanamuhla. Satothandaza bazalwane. This God is faithful. Moses kubhala lapho ubuke emuva bazalwane. Nathi bazalwane singabuke emuva. Sibuke ama landmarks letindlu uNkulunkulu latendile. Bese siyasho sithi yes, God, you have been our refuge. God, you are dependable. God, you have been a provider. God, you have been our protector in difficult times. God, you have been our encourager etikhatsini lapho khona si-helpless khona. God, you have been our healer when we were sick. So bazalwane sitothandaza kulo nkulunkulu lasikela, God, you have been our refuge. Nathi sitosho njalo nje uthi Nkosi, up to this time, God, you have been our source of strength. There are times bazalwane lapho khona nesitha abhale ngale ku Psalm 124 athi kube simakade bewungekho ngakithi, ngabe sivele endleleni, ngabe tithathethu tihlekise ngathi. Ngiko ke bese uyafika lapha ukuthi God, you are our source of strength. Ungemandla ethu simakade. Sitothandaza bazalwane to this God bazalwane who is complete, to this God who has demonstrated his sovereignty yakhe for generations and generations. uNkulunkulu bazalwane lonemlando bazalwane ngokuthi bazalwane he has raised the dead bafile abavuse emathuneni, and we have evidence bazalwane ukuthi bake bavuka boLazarus. Sitothandaza kulo uNkulunkulu lonemazibithi bazalwane ukuthi ubavusile boThabitha, uke wamvusa umfana sekuyothe kuthiwa kuyongcwatshwa emathuneni lendvodzana yalo mfelokade, and uNkulunkulu wathinta Jesu wafika walithinta libhokisi, and he raised the son. That's the God we are worshiping, the God of all generations. Sitothandaza bazalwane, just bring your situation to this God. He is a God that we can trust bazalwane. Sisahlabelele bazalwane sisukumile sonke. Sitawuthandaza bazalwane sonke nje bazalwane siphumisele kuNkulunkulu. Nawe lokhu lokuvaka ungazi ukuthi uyakwesinza umtshele uNkulunkulu ukuthi uNkulunkulu, you have been our God throughout generations. Nathi sethembe wena even during our time. Kulesikhathi sethu, kulama challenges alesikhathi sethu, we are depending on you, O God. He's a dependable God bazalwane. uNkulunkulu of a history, very clear and definite bazalwane. Nathi ke bazalwane aside ngalo umthandazo